Hello, welcome to the Scoop with Barb. How's everybody today? I was trying to play a song, but I'm doing a new format today, doing this vertical format, trying to see if we could get some new people to come in and maybe chat and let's talk about what is going on. This month has been crazy. And every day of this month, especially oh, good gravy. Hello, hello. Sorry, had a major technical error. I was just saying that I just came on to talk about all the crazy stuff that's been going on with I've got some discouraging things to talk about that are sad that happened because of these things that Trump has put into place or put into place and then said, okay, never mind. Um, Rusty, please stop digging in the carpet. Rusty, thank you. And then today, because he announced these new tariffs, the stock market has completely crashed. Let me show you this visual. I had it all set up, but then I lost my internet, which tends to happen because it's weird like that. But anyway, this is what the Dow Jones has done today or did today. Let me add that up here. Can you see that? This is just the latest major occurrence in this year. I mean, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. And so, uh, the plane crash when the president of the United States. Some of y'all aren't used to me talking my truth, but I'm talking my truth. Now, am I back? Marie, can you hear me? I know I was frozen and I dropped off and came back and everything. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Some people are going to disagree with me, but I'm taking my channel in a direction that I need to take it for my own mental health. And I have a voice, and no matter if 90% of the people disagree with me, but what Trump has done has caused chaos and affected people's lives. I saw a post from a friend who is on the board of you know, an agency that helps the foster children, at-risk children. And the day that President Trump said he was halting funding for all these different things, the people of Head Start and Meals on Wheels and all these functioning things that depend on federal funding don't know what they're supposed to do. And so her group had, this place had posted, we've got to figure out resources to take up for this because I know that Trump rescinded that, but it's not like he said, okay, I'm done. It's just that particular thing for that particular day is done. Trump's coming after pretty much everything. People are being fired. People are like he fired a bunch of judges and Justice Department, and all these federal employees have been given 1 week to decide if they want to, end a lifetime career. Could be a lifetime career for I think it's 7 or 8 months pay or something. Now, I would need a contract for that because, I mean, look, Trump is known for not paying his construction people, his events people. I just would, you're giving up a career that you've, and look, you take all these career professionals out of the government. Who's going to train? Who knows what they know? Like you just, and the FAA, he had halted all this stuff with the FAA. And then when the plane crashed, he blamed it on Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg is no longer running the department. And I understand that you can go back in time and say, look, these are the people that caused this. I don't even know if y'all can hear me. I'm sitting here talking to somebody. Whoever's watching me, could you just let me know if y'all can hear me or not? Oh, there's 2 people. If y'all can hear me, let me know. I'm just talking and talking, and I had technical difficulties earlier, so I don't know if you can hear me. But I'm just ranting. But the plane crash, the day the plane crashed, the next morning or early afternoon, President Trump was complaining about what these other guys did. And that's not what happened. So let me read to you. Of course, I'm not going to give you a name or anything, but this is a friend of mine who has cancer and has been getting treated for cancer. I think she's finished her 3rd ringing the bell end of cancer treatment. Chemo, I guess is what they do, to ring the bell for. Anyway, this is what she wrote the morning that we found out that funding had been stopped. And not only was it supposed to not touch Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security, the Medicaid website went down, according to numerous reports. I can't check that for you. I don't have Medicaid, but I am on Social Security and Medicare. I am an older adult. And so, but this friend of mine posted this. It's very heart-wrenching, especially if you think about who's actually being affected. maybe you don't feel like you're being affected yet. Maybe you feel like, oh, none of this stuff that he's doing is going to affect me. I saw a Facebook friend yesterday was laughing at somebody who was upset about what's going on because we do have fear. And I had to, I mean, I've been, I know that I can disagree with you about MAGA and what I believe, but I believe in humane treatment of each other. I believe in empathy and sympathy and respect for our fellow human beings, right? And this person she was laughing at and making fun of is just somebody who's upset about everything. And I just was like, sorry, I didn't celebrate and rub it in anybody's face when Biden beat Trump last time. Uh, just like I don't expect people who were Trump supporters to rub it in my face. Ha ha ha. I'm scared. I spent the day with a knot in my stomach because I'm dependent upon Social Security and Medicare. I mean, I paid into it since I was 16 years old. We were promised it. I'm getting it. I'm living off of it. I can't work. I mean, you know, and so I still don't know if anybody, I guess y'all can hear me. I'm still going here. Two people. Hey, two people. Hey, 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 hey. Anyway, this is what my friend wrote. I am not okay today. Feeling very sick, literally. Why? My life literally is depending on cancer research. Now, if you recall, he halted all funding for any kind of medical research, all of it. I think he rescinded that as well, but I didn't know all this was in the same package. But anyway, at this point, she didn't say it wasn't rescinded when she wrote this. My cancer is rare, aggressive, and terminal. The doctors cannot believe I'm alive right now and tell me they are buying time until the next treatment comes along. Imagine you're not expected to live. The doctors aren't going to pound that into you, but you're waiting till the next buying time until the next treatment comes along. New treatments require research and money. Science needs money. This new administration has put the brakes on the research that I am depending on to live. Live in capital letters, to live, life and death. A lot of these things are life and death. This is life and death to my friend who's struggling and continues to work when she can. Like, when she's going through 5 or however many things of radiation a week or chemo or whatever, you go through a period of time with that where you can't work. But then as soon as she's able, she's back at her job. And she's trying to survive cancer and waiting on a new treatment to arise, a new treatment to be found. But no, all the funding was cut off. Just boom, in the blink of an eye, boom. I am getting medication from the manufacturer that would regularly cost $23,000 a month. I get the medication for free. Why? Research and government. Research and government funding. I am so stressed out, I am sick. Am I sick from stress or my cancer? The treatment side effects, I don't know. I just know I'm throwing up and unable to sleep either way. Stress exasperates cancer. How do we know that? Research. This MAGA Project 2025 Heritage Foundation Christian nationalism has stopped the funds needed for my life. Not mine, if you just came in, this friend of mine. This was all predicted and mapped out before the election. We knew this was going to happen. Everyone reading this is going to be greatly impacted unless we stand up and use our voice. I'm so appreciative that she, that she wrote that, and I follow her path on Facebook. We knew each other years ago. And it's so real when it's someone like a friend of mine got murdered January 1st of this year. And it's so much more real when it's you or someone and you can make it, it's more tangible. And if anybody's sitting here thinking that none of these things that he's doing is going to affect you, I'm sorry, you're just wrong. If they were to cut Medicaid off completely, I don't know how many people are on Medicaid, but you're talking about people who are already down. They don't have any money. Medicaid is for people who don't have a job and don't have any, or I guess don't make enough at their job. I guess if you have a family and you don't make enough, you can get Medicaid. I've never been on it. I don't know how it works exactly, but Medicare is a supplement that goes along with our Social Security that we all put into. You put into it if you have a W-2, if you have W-2 income, you put into this. You put into it every paycheck. Every paycheck, you put in Social Security and Medicare, whether you owe any federal or state income tax on that at all. You're always putting into these funds, and you expect them to be there when you come out. And I know they've predicted for years that the money's going to run out, that we're not going to have the money. But as it stands, okay. And so today or tomorrow, Donald Trump will impose a 25% tariff on Mexico and 25% tariff on Canada and 10% tariff on China. Okay, Canada already said they would just stop sending, whatever natural resources they send to the United States. It's some kind of fuel. I think it's heating fuel, or I don't know. They could just cut that off. Maybe they don't want to agree with Trump. Y'all, that's a lot. That's a lot. 25% on Mexico and Canada. Canada is friendly. USA and Canada, we're fairly friendly, right? Why are you going to do that? You just never, from day to day, you don't know what he's going to do, what he's going to take away, what he's going to change. And then he's just going to blame it on Biden. Well, Biden caused that plane to crash, right? No. Biden didn't cause the plane to crash. You can sit in your happy place and say, well, I'm not transgender and my kids aren't transgender and those people needed to go anyway, and whatever you want to say. Do they not have any rights though to be human beings? Do they not have any rights to do? Why is it the government's choice? Why is it one man's choice? We have a system of government where we have checks and balances, and he has just walked in and exploded on that and just taken over, whatever he wants to do. Hold on just a second. So yeah, the 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada starts Saturday. And this guy says, it's going to explain all the math and everything, what that means. Stock market craters. Why doesn't he understand that tariffs are passed on to the buyer? Everything just went up. We should probably go to the store and stock up on things because everything will go up 25%. Let me see if this is him. Yeah, I'm just like, Canada is planning to cut off all energy supplies to the U.S. as soon as next week to fight back against Trump's tariffs. Trump says tariffs on Canada and Mexico coming Saturday, and he's deciding whether to tax oil. The United States imported almost 4.6 million barrels of oil daily from Canada in October. 4.6 million barrels of oil daily. Who's going to pay for that? I mean, why doesn't he understand that the buyer in the United States is going to pay for that? Am I wrong? Is there something I'm not getting here? It's just too much. Can y'all see me? I see some people came in, and the last message somebody wrote was that I was frozen, but that was about 18 minutes ago. So we were talking about the tariffs that are being imposed starting tomorrow. It's a trade war. It's really a tax on Americans, yes. Anytime there's a sales tax or it's always a tax. The tax is on the people. And when you may be retired and not owe any like federal or state income taxes, but you pay taxes every time you buy fuel for your car or your boat or your whatever. We pay those taxes. If he can do away with income tax, it's not going to help the poor. The poor don't, well, how's that going to help the poor? Wow, before Trump took office, I would have chosen the U.S. to win the tariff war. Nope. Trump's 25% tariffs on Canada go into effect tomorrow. Your gas is about to get significantly more expensive. Every day since he took office, there have been these major things, and this, like I was saying earlier, and I know people are coming in and out. When you think your whole income is going to leave, they're talking about taking. I know that he rescinded taking federal funds, which stopped funding for a lot of like Meals on Wheels and these supports for our kids and foster children and everything. And supposedly, okay, we take it back. We're not going to do it. It's not over, y'all. And who's going to suffer from that is going to be the young people. And what if you took 1 million people and all of a sudden who have a home, have like me, have a very modest home, have a vehicle that runs, have enough to make it each month, to suddenly having no income. Like there's millions of us on Social Security who don't have. I could go in and tell you exactly why I don't have a big savings account, but nobody wants to hear that. So I just wanted to say, we got to hang together. We got to find our tribes. I'm looking for a tribe right now, someone who's like-minded and is willing to, come on and discuss it. I've reached out to a group that I'm on Facebook. I'm going to maybe reach out to a bigger group if that doesn't pan out and try to find some people who will come on and discuss these things where we can support one another and get to the truth. And a lot of the things that happen, I believe, are distractions. I hear they're just distractions. And so we have to look at that as well. Okay, guys. Well, I know I'm in a new format for me. I'm usually on the horizontal, the regular old live streams. And I thought I would try this one out today. because, people can come in from the shorts and find you and everything. And so maybe I didn't find some of my regulars that come in. I miss y'all if y'all come in later and see this. Again, I'm on the lookout for like-minded people who don't want to just live in total fear, to have someone else to talk to about these changes that are going on. What happens if you lose a benefit that you rely on? Maybe you're watching this and you're an elderly person who gets Meals on Wheels, or you're a parent who doesn't make enough to feed your children. I'm sorry, y'all, it happens. And your children on Friday afternoon, or the last day that school's scheduled, the schools give food to take home. This is a federally funded program. For the weekend, they get food. And so if the schools are defunded, if the programs are defunded for school lunches and these take home, what's going to happen? You think crime is bad now? I realize that, like Social Security, most of us are older, but then you have the younger people who may be disabled. I heard he's coming after them first. Or maybe somebody who's taking care, has to stay home and take care of their child, or their adult child. Their adult child or their spouse, because they need full-time care. These programs support that. And you're just going to yank that out from under everybody with no notice? The press secretary said the notice was the executive order. That's not notice. And then the Medicaid's website went down for like 24 hours. And I know that for a fact because while I'm not on Medicaid, I am on Medicare, and I get over-the-counter products through my insurance. I get some over-the-counter products. And I had tried to order earlier in the month, and I got distracted, and so I had gone back to try to order, and the site wouldn't load. It would load up to a point, and then it wouldn't load. Well, then an error message came up, and it said that the Medicare site could not be reached because you get a balance every month. You get so much money every month to spend in this store, and it couldn't be reached. So I couldn't order. No big deal. It wasn't anything I needed right away. But what if it was? Mail order doesn't get here that quickly. But what if you were a therapist and you were trying to bill your patients who are, I know that children in foster care get their therapy is paid for, and they go to therapy. I think they're mandated to go to therapy. They're in, foster care, and the therapist is working. The therapist is like, well, I can't bill this because the site's down. And they're like, well, is this forever? Like, how long is this going to last? Because that's their livelihood. Don't think that you can't be affected by these things that he's doing. It takes an act of Congress to do a lot of these things that Trump is trying to do on his own. And, a judge had already stopped. No, you can't cut these programs off. You just can't unilaterally do that. But anybody got anything to say? I see people are coming in and out. I don't see any of my regular friends in here. I just feel like this year, it feels like it's been a year already. And change is scary for a lot of people. Change is scary for me. I do have anxiety. I'm still a nail biter even at my advanced age, unfortunately. Just everything that happens maybe not, maybe you're not going to be affected by issues to do with transgender people because you don't know any of them. Maybe you're not going to be affected by Meals on Wheels because you're not elderly. Hey, toxicity, I just feel like nobody's here. Thanks for saying something. I'm just rattling off because I'm upset, really. And I spent the day, I don't know if you heard me, toxicity, reading that letter that my friend had written, who's waiting on new treatments when she's already surviving in cancer, treatment to treatment, and waiting on the next treatment to be brought forward, and then all the funding gets cut off. It was just heart-wrenching to me. The roundup of the illegal, whatever, people who came over to the cross the border, he says he's going to put 30,000 people in Guantanamo Bay prison. I understand arresting people who are here, who didn't come in the legal way. Great, fine. You know where they are, especially if they're, dangerous criminals. Yes, get them. But let's treat everybody like they're a human being. People that came here for a reason, and we've always had immigration. We've always had immigration, and now you don't have the benefit of being even birthed here. That was taken away. Birthright. Yeah, that's what it's called. And the stock market just crashed. I don't know what does that mean? Air traffic control supervisor at Washington Regional National. Let me see. Yeah, so it's just like you're just waiting on the next shoe to drop. And one day, one day there's all this attention on the immigration, and then the next day there's a plane crash, and our news cycle moves just so freaking fast. Yes, toxicity, it's crazy. It's crazy. And we have to stand together and stand up for what we believe in. And I just feel like the human beings are being treated like we are not anything. And we all are, and we're all important, and we all deserve to be here. And to say you're going to put 30,000 people in Guantanamo Bay, okay, I don't get it. I can see, I know we've got too much. I know that there's an immigration problem. I know that there's a problem, but can we handle it humanely? Can we treat people the way we want to be treated? I mean, can we? I'm glad you can hear me, toxicity, because I completely lost the internet for a while, and Marie was in here and told me that I was frozen, and then never said anything else. So what do y'all think about the plane crash? Even with the new videos that came out, it is sad and scary, toxicity. There's even some clearer videos out of the plane crashing. It just looks like that Black Hawk, it just looks like it just flew directly into the plane. And I'm not trying to blame it on the pilot of the helicopter. I'm just saying, I mean, I just don't think that it was just a weird accident. But I did hear where, for one thing, there were 3 people on the helicopter, and this one lady said that There should have been 4 because they have to have visual. They have to have visual of the out, like your 5 and 7 in your behind. But that airplane was right in front of there, and so sad, so horribly sad that the press conference that's had about that, the president should be reassuring the people and talk about how safe the airlines have been. But this was tragic. Right now, we don't know what happened. It looks like an accident. We are investigating. We'll find out what went wrong. Pull the country together or make us feel good about it. But no, we got to blame Joe Biden. We got to blame Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who was over the whole, was over aviation at one point. And it just, where is your humanity and your empathy? There's no empathy. And then they asked him if he was going to visit the site of the crash, and he said, "Where, in the water? Do you want me to go swimming?" No, there's a place there for people, relatives. You could go visit with those people and say, like every other president, like you saw President Obama when the kids at Sandy Hook lost their lives, and he went and met with those parents. You could actually make it into something good, as far as like when George W. Bush went at 9/11, after 9/11, and he went out there with the bullhorn and, let's gather the country together. No matter what you think about 9/11 and everything, that's still the right strategy for the president to do. But to go on and start talking politics and blaming a former administration after you already fired the FAA and blamed it on DEI when you didn't know who was flying any of those, the plane or the helicopter. They could have been straight white men. I don't know. I did see the pilot. I did see a picture of the pilot, and I don't know if he was born American or whatever. I don't know. So you just go in there and just talk politics, and we need to be united, not torn apart. And we've been torn apart as a country since Trump came in the picture, because he's a very divisive man. It's truth. I'm not making it. This isn't based on my emotions. It's the truth. And now we've got, we've got a man who wants to continue to be president, who said after this there would never need to be another election. All of these things that he's said for the last 8, 9, 10 years, however long he first started running, he's told us what he was going to do. And now he's term limited, unless he can change that in the next 4 years. He's term limited. So it's like, because usually they're always running. You're always running for office. You're always running for office. Those 8 years, but you only get to run for office you can run for office 1,000 times if you don't win, but you can only win twice, and he's won twice. And, so you feel like you can do more freely. But we knew when COVID was here, when it first got here, and he was telling us we just need to try bleach, and telling people, just not telling the truth to Americans. And yes, they're all going to lie to us, and they're going to do things, but we have to there's not a lot of truth going on, and it's a lot of bullying tactics and fear tactics, and I don't know how far he's going to push until a certain um, portion of America starts to rebel. I don't know in what way that will happen, but if you take away people's insurance via Medicaid, and you take away things that we've paid into our whole lives, like Medicare and Social Security, that's the end. It's the end for a lot of people. It would be the end for me. I don't know what I would do. I honestly don't know what I would do, um, because I can't work. I mean, I might could work a few hours a day if somebody would give me a job doing that, but that's not enough to support myself. I paid in for my Social Security forever, since I was 16, and I want to be able to draw it back out. And maybe if it runs out of money, that's one thing. But for the president just to go, oh, we're not going to pay you, which they're telling me, people are saying, oh, he won't do that. He sure will try. He's going to do whatever he can to, I mean, why would you put huge tariffs on companies that are providing us with gas and oil? Is there enough in the United States that we don't need anything from any other countries? You're gonna up the price to Canada, and who's going to pay for that again? We are. Yeah, people are going to rebel. Toxicity. I don't know. There's a house that I walk by. Probably I walk different routes whenever I'm out walking, but I walk by there. I've walked by there probably 4 times this month, and it's an old, like, I don't know if it's Victorian. I don't really know all my architecture and stuff, but it's a house like that, and there's been a Hispanic man there working on that house every time I've gone by. I think I've only seen like the one guy there. Well, he wasn't there when I went by. No, it wasn't. I haven't been by there 4 times this month. I've probably been by there twice this month. Maybe 4 times. Maybe 4 times. Anyway, he wasn't there the other day. I don't know if that means that he's, you know, gone back to Mexico or is in hiding. I don't know. Hey, Kerm the Frog. I just know that he wasn't there the other day when I went by there. And I wondered about him. I wondered about him because I know that a lot of people who have come into the country do the kind of work and don't do this kind of work and don't get paid a whole lot for it. I had a girlfriend one time, and she bought a house, and she had these guys. They were from Mexico, and they were doing the work for her. And they, can y'all still hear me? My bubble's not moving. That's why I'm asking. Okay. They did this tile work. They were fast and, I mean, perfect job. I mean, you couldn't ask. And the price was, just amazing. I was like, I wish I had. So I didn't live in this house then, but I wish I had the money to have hired them. But that was off, that was pay that they were getting off record, no taxes or anything. And that's what a lot of people do. A lot of people do that anyway because people don't make enough at their jobs or they can't get a job. And so they work, cleaning houses or doing construction work, doing landscaping, different kinds of, you call it odd jobs or whatever because they don't have a full-time job. But a lot of people, that's how they live. I just see everybody just like holding on to their money right now and being, afraid because we don't, We do know what's going to happen because we were told. We were told that is what was going to happen. Yeah, cash work. Nothing like it, you know? I mean, we've all done a little bit of it. I've done it. I've done, odd jobs for cash. I'm trying to think now. I know people who have made a lot of money cleaning houses and not paying taxes on that, or doing construction jobs, or things that people need done that you don't necessarily have a business for. But the thing about that is, any kind of work that you do off the record like that doesn't go into your Social Security. And I can understand if you're young and watching this, you're thinking, well, it's not, Social Security won't be there when I get there anyway. It probably won't. But I'm sitting here wondering if I'm going to get my check deposited, if I'm going to get my direct deposit in a few weeks, right? Because I'm retired and I'm dependent on my Social Security. That's true, toxicity. That's true. But, the other thing, there are some legitimate people on social media. And if you do it right, if you're truly making social media your job, then you would be paying, it would be a business, right? You would have it as a business. You set up your business, and then I'm not talking about if you make a few $100s a month, but if you're using this as your job, you want to do that right. But there's another thing is, as all the TikTokers saw, is that you can lose that at any point. I don't think TikTok's going to in the future be what it has been. It may stay around in the United States. I don't know, but it won't be the same. And they can jerk that pay that people are getting. They can take that away at any moment, because I know Facebook did that to people. I know somebody it happened to. I watched it. They're barely even on Facebook anymore. They're not really on YouTube. They couldn't make any money, and it was somebody who was making a lot of money, but or making fake funds. Yeah, they took that money though. Facebook stopped paying it. I don't know all the ins and outs of why or how. I've never been a paid Facebook person, but a job, if you're out raking leaves, maybe that's your fall job, is to go rake yards for people, and then in the summer you mow grass and stuff. Those kind of jobs aren't really going to go away unless the government, or stops paying what the people are owed, like me. um, I mean, how are all the old people who are living on Social Security going to pay you to mow their yard if they stop getting paid? I know a lot of people have retirement funds, but some of us don't. And yeah, some people actually do make real. I want to see how that looks when it goes up here. Oh, look. It's difficult. It's different when people actually make real content. Some people do actually make real content, and some people just use other people's content and talk about it, which I've done a lot of that too. I've done a lot of that too. But it's just been scary, and I'm trying to figure out. I'll watch the news, or flip through X, or see news stories pop up on Facebook, and I'll be watching all that for a while, and then I'll just go, Barb, stop, go watch a movie or something. And I've done that quite a bit this week. Just turned off all the news and go watch them, because if it matters, it will still be there tomorrow. If it doesn't, it might still be there tomorrow. Like, everything is so fast in the news cycle, it's catching up with YouTube time. If you know what I'm talking about. I know toxicity knows. But the news cycle is so quick. I wouldn't doubt in a few days, if we're not even talking about this plane crash, right? It'll just be old news in a few days. And that's so sad. I mean, we've had school shootings that it happened. We all heard about it. We read about it. We watched it. Next day, don't hear a thing about it. We're on to something else. And that's how fast things are turning right now. Yes, I'm getting a lot of anxiety, toxicity, and also, trying to figure out the best way and stop myself from going, well, what if, but like I said, that one whole day I was like, I don't know if he just cut off my Social Security, because he says he's not going to. He says he's not going to, but he says he's not going to cut off Medicaid, and he did. I'm not on Medicaid, but it was cut for a day. Their whole portal went down. Not till 5:30. Oh, you're going to be live later? Yeah, that's what I thought. What did Justin Trudeau say? Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he's ready with a purposeful, forceful, but reasonable immediate response if and when U.S. President Donald Trump imposes 25% tariffs on Canadian imports. Well, he said he was doing it starting tomorrow. 2 school shootings I never heard of. Yeah, Kerm. I mean, used to when Sandy Hook happened and Columbine happened, those were 2 that I remember. I remember the Pulse nightclub shootings. I know those aren't school shootings, but the shooting at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. And then Val, what was that one where the police didn't even rush in and save anybody? They just were outside and they were in all kinds of trouble. Those were all big things, and we've just moved on. We just move on. And today we're on huge tariffs. What did Canada ever do to us? Why are we trying to? Let's see what he said he was going to do. If he said he was going to do anything. I'm looking at Reuters. President Donald Trump has set a Saturday deadline to slap a 25% tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico. He says he wants stronger action to halt the flow of illegal immigrants and the deadly opioid fentanyl into the United States. Stronger action. So he wants what? He wants them to keep people. I mean, do we have that coming from Canada? Trudeau, speaking to an advisory council on Canada-U.S. relations, said the country was at a critical moment. We're ready with the response, a purposeful, forceful, but reasonable, immediate response. It's not what we want, but if he moves forward, we will act. We will act. We will also act, he said. He said in televised remarks, adding that all options were on the table. Canada sends 75% of all its goods and services exports to the U.S. And the economy would be badly hit by Trump's proposed tariffs. I won't sugarcoat it. Our nation could be facing difficult times in the coming days and weeks, Trudeau said. I know Canadians might be anxious, so now he's got the freaking Canadians anxious. Then he has all the Mexicans anxious. He's got the whole world anxious. But I want them to know the federal government, and indeed all orders of government, have their backs. So now the Canadians don't know what they're going to do. These things, I'm just saying, it's going to affect you. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you're watching me from, but you can't sit back and say, and that's why I'm speaking out. I'm going to speak out. I've got plans to have panels about these things with people who know a lot more about it than I do. And we can hear how it's affecting each other and how it's hurting each other and how we can be here for each other and take up for each other and give each other a sense of belonging. Let me see what. Let me see. This is here. This is the White House press secretary. Let me know if you can't hear it.
I've answered on this subject. When you are flying on an airplane with your loved ones, which every one of us in this room has, do you pray that your plane lands safely and gets you to your destination, or do you pray that the pilot has a certain skin color? I think we all know the answer to that question, and as President Trump said yesterday, it's common sense. Rob?
They are really, really strung out about the DEI. Basically, what they're trying to do is get Black people out of the workforce, my opinion, when they say DEI. And, women are, but here, look, we've got this blonde, platinum blonde, 26-year-old woman as a press secretary who's married to a 60-year-old man, by the way, but that's none of my business. I just, nobody cares if a transgender. Okay, so there was a little short interview or video by this man who, wait, hold on, by a transgender person. I don't know how to say. I don't know how this person identifies, how they identify. Okay, a transgender person who is a pilot or I think his friends thought he was the one, he could have been the one flying that helicopter. Can you imagine? They want people who are disabled to work, but then they don't want to believe in disabled people. And there was people saying they wanted that Biden wanted blind people to work for the air traffic control. No. So I just, it's like for me, I just don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, white woman. Ugh. I just wish we could go back and be believe what he was telling us, right? He's telling us he's not going to. He's telling us he's going to do all these things and he's doing them, and now everybody's scared. We ought to be scared. What's going to happen next? It's a very scary time. If you don't believe me, then you're not watching the news, or you think he's right. And if you think he's right, I don't even know what to say to you. I don't even know what to say, but I know that I know people. I just unfriended somebody yesterday because she was laughing and making fun of somebody who was upset about some of the changes, who was crying, and she was making fun of them. And I'm like, do you not have any empathy? You're not even the person I thought you were. You don't have any empathy. So I didn't say anything, or I didn't block her or anything like that. Just like, you're not who I thought you were. You're not my friend. So I appreciate y'all coming in and watching, and hopefully look forward to seeing everybody soon for some group, live streams with some people who aren't even YouTubers, who I'm working on getting together to go into these discussions and talk about, and figure out what we can do to support each other and to support the community where we live and get through whatever comes our way, because I'm sorry, it's going to hit you all. And if you don't believe me, just keep watching the news, and you know, you can come back, and if I'm wrong, I'd love for you to come back in a couple years and say, I told you so. You were wrong, Barb. You were wrong. Please come back and tell me that. I can't wait. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong today about being afraid. And being afraid doesn't save me or make me, you know, healthy or anything. It doesn't make anything better, but the fear and stress can eat a person alive. And how we handle ourselves and our bodies during this time, you know, you are toxicity. I feel like I'm all alone over here feeling scared. I feel like I'm alone. But in the meantime, you know, eat right and get your exercise and everything. And I don't know, I'm not a prepper, but I've been thinking about becoming a prepper. So I don't know. Probably already should have done that. Should at least go fill my car up with gas, right? I don't want to be so scary and bummer and everything. And I'd love to come on here and just be funny and laugh and you know, talk, you know, laugh and talk and have and show y'all some funny videos and you know, all the stuff. But I just can't. Bye, Kermit the Frog, and bye, whoever else is watching in Toxicity. Thanks y'all for being here. And please hit the like button. And also, if you're new here, subscribe. I'd love to have you. If you want to hear more about what's going on in America, y'all have a great weekend. See you later on It's Not Too Late. I'll see you over on your channel a little later, Toxicity. All right. Have a great day. Bye.